So, welcome back to another
Hey,
episode.
what's up, guys? The Operation Hustle.
Hey.
Today we got Caitlin with us.
What's up?
And we got Alejandro. He's back from vacation.
The squad is
Hello.
in.
Woo!
We're going to go over some anxiety things today. We're going to talk about learning new things. I mean, when's the last time you actually learned something new?
Yeah.
Tell me. I'd like to know.
Things that we possibly have learned or things that we want to learn. But I did want to start off the podcast today with just giving a big shout out to our team, Caitlin, Alejandro, and Phil, for such a great week. Since we've come back from
Amazing
Hawaii,
week.
they have been on it. And as of yesterday, we have officially closed all trainers' schedules.
Hey.
And so we are looking for a new trainer. So if you're listening and you're a trainer and you want to work for us,
Yeah, if you're trying to
definitely
build
DM
the
us.
squad with us.
But yeah, we just set an interview for Monday, and we'll be looking for a new trainer to add to the team ASAP. So thank you guys for really just working hard and allowing us to get to this point of expansion because we couldn't do without you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. Also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Facebook, Abs Fitness LLC. YouTube, Abs Fitness Filmhouse. And Instagram, Abs Fitness.
_,
you go.
Brandon, Florida.
Awesome. So, like what I was talking about in the beginning, about learning new things. So, I was watching some podcasts this week, and it got me very interested in just learning in general. Jim Quick was his name, and he was going over like when you actually learned how to read. How old were you? And he said, I mean, the average age was pretty low, like third grade. Whatever is the last time you actually put effort in learning how to read. And it was interesting how he just kind of like opened up my mind to, man, when's the last time I actually relearned something?
Are we all just walking around like zombies once we get comfortable in our job settings, right, and our position, and we're not trying to, grow from there? And that's what I gathered from that. I mean, fun little fact for those who don't know, because I really don't share this. I actually just shared it with a client yesterday. When I was in elementary school, I actually was in a small group for reading and math because those were subjects I struggled with. So reading didn't come easy to me, but now I enjoy reading.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the best reader or speller. If anyone has my contact information,
He's
you probably
definitely
know
not.
this.
This is how crazy this is. When we were first dating, I remember her saying, we're going to hang out Saturday. And he was like, he spelled Saturday Saterday. And I was like,
Listen,
surely
guys.
that was a mistake. And then I was like, so I posed
The
the question
effort was
again.
there.
And I was like, wait, what day? Just to see, where his spelling, skills were
dumbed
at.
my
He
phone
did it
down.
again. And I was like, all right, that's not an autocorrection. He really thinks Saturday is spelled that way.
I'm definitely not the sharpest tool in the TED. See, I can't even speak now.
No.
But I am going to put more effort into it. It just interests me a lot to kind of like relearn a skill that we already have and something that we don't really look into all the time. We just kind of mosey through every day like, oh, I already know how to do that. I don't need to improve on that. And improvements are everything.
And Justin was watching a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before on YouTube. He's always watching YouTube videos. I'm always like, what are you doing? He's
I
just
get my
watching
info,
something
okay?
else. So anyways, he was watching a video on taking notes. And like, first of all, not only did that interest me, so I wanted to know what it was all about too, but like, I was a little bit inspired by him. I was like, look at him, like watching a video on how to properly take notes, just because you think you know how to take notes, but then there's always a better way to do it or organize it, just so that you're a little bit more structured with your notes, and you'll remember actually all the key points. But the guy had said in the video that like when you take notes, that's just like the key of exploration. A lot of the super intelligent people out there, one of the things that they do is take notes. And you think that your conversations just with people or with clients, aren't useful, but they are, because you may have had a situation, and I think about this, this week I had one of the other trainers' clients was really going through it, and we had a really great talk in the office, and like I should have wrote everything we were talking about, or at least recorded the conversation, either recorded it with a recorder or wrote it down, because that conversation could have been useful with another client going through something very similar, or just going through a hard time, and I may not have remembered what I said to her, and it would have been just as useful with the next client. But just taking notes, I think I'm going to start doing that going forward, or like I said, using a recorder and recording conversations where I'm not sure I will be able to write everything down as fast, but definitely everything that we talk about with people in general is useful for content of some way, somehow.
You can take notes on anything. I mean, you can take notes after you're done doing something too, like being at work. You can take notes on your day at work.
So
things
that was
went
something
wrong.
that we learned this week.
Yeah.
Let's hear from them. I want to know what they've learned. It doesn't have to be this week, but just something that you guys have learned that you want to talk about that you think is useful to everybody here watching today.
I don't know if it's useful to everybody, but Justin was talking about learning how to reread or relearning how to read. It's funny you talked that up because I'm reading a lot of self-help books.
That's cool.
And at night, I've been reading that before I go to sleep. And it's like I'm reading, but I'm really only skimming.
Yep.
And, you know, from school, we just skim through those textbooks, and I got used to that, just skimming and not really understanding the information. So I'm finding myself having to reread that book so many times. So it's learning how to read.
So what are you currently reading right now?
Unfuck Yourself.
Love it.
Ah,
Okay.
let's
She,
go.
I could tell she wasn't like, should
Yeah,
I
I was
say
like,
the word?
can I say
it's
it?
free. We're a free country here.
No,
Let's
it's
go.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
this is a good book. I read that one. It's definitely a good book. I think it talks a lot about just yourself, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since I read it, talks about not caring like necessarily about what other people think of you. And I said this the last podcast, and I said, listen, guys, I promise, when you stop caring about what others think, the grass is definitely greener. This is one of those sayings on the other side. It is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up here pretty much telling you guys I can't read. and
told
I
you-
still don't care.
Right, I was in a special reading and math group.
Yeah.
Yeah, even taking what Abby said and not caring what people like think of you, I've seen myself grow a lot in that factor in the gym. Not
Yeah.
caring about
Yeah.
like just me in the gym. I'm in my zone. I'm not worried about, oh, was that person looking at me? Oh, like, am I doing this wrong? Is that why they're looking at me?
And there was
I've grown
another
a
thing
lot.
brought up in that podcast, and the guy was like, listen, think about even just like the stupidest thing, like doing something dumb in the gym.
Yeah.
100 years from now, is that person that's seen you fall gonna remember that? No, they're probably gonna be dead, and no one will remember who you actually are unless you make a name for yourself. So if you kind of think in that way, like, why do you care about what anybody thinks?
Oh,
ever?
wait, I just want to address this quick. Somebody said, hey, didn't see you guys live on IG, so I'm here. Hey, girl, we're here. Sorry we could not get on IG just because of how big the group is with the camera today live, but we are live on YouTube as well. So today, Facebook Live and YouTube Live. We will be doing Instagram Live in the future. But anyway, I am curious to know exactly when you were telling us this, what you felt like you were worried about others judging you about in the gym.
At the end of the day, I think it came down to my confidence. Just confidence in yourself. And necessarily, obviously, I'm a personal trainer. I know what I'm doing. It was that anxiety, There
Yeah,
it is.
see,
There
everybody
it goes.
has it.
You
No
know,
one wants to talk
I'm
about
just worried when I shouldn't be. You know, I should just be focused on what I'm doing in the gym at that time. And I've really learned how to just kind of let go and be myself. I'll catch myself dancing in between sets.
Yeah.
I'm really just trying to learn how to enjoy my time and not give a fuck
I'm going to
about
give
what
you a
other people are
perfect
saying.
example because this is definitely something I think a lot of women struggle with is going in the gym and worried about others think. And I actually experienced this myself too because I'm going to give you an example. And this was just online and not even in the gym. But like I posted a video of me doing some elevated Bosu glute bridges in a group that's, you know, for women who lift. And anyways, somebody felt the need to attack the post and was like, we were in Hawaii and I was like, Justin, look at this. And she comments and she's like, I don't really feel my glutes doing that, as if now discrediting me, as if now everybody doing this is not going to feel their glutes.
Yeah.
Listen, and you know this best because, you know, you have that special hamstring, but that, not everybody's muscles are engaged the same way, right?
Yeah.
So, and I commented back with that. I said, listen, this works well for me. What I do for my clients, if they don't feel the engagement that they should, is I'll band it. You know what I mean? And I'm talking them through as they do it. And then she still said, well, I don't use band. And it's just continued to feel the need to attack. And it's like, okay, but I never said this is going to work best for everyone. I just posted it and said, hey, here it is, right? But so what I was going to say is in the gym, I feel that. I feel sometimes people will look at you and be like, oh, that's a stupid move. I don't know why she's doing that. I'm doing it because this is where I feel my glutes engage best. Maybe it won't work best for you, but you just have to stop caring what other people think because you're right. You have to be worried about what you're doing and, you know, focusing on your goals and how you're going to achieve those. And if you know that to be working best for you, then not to care what other people think.
Yep,
Alejandro, what do you think?
I'm going to speak to that point. So as far as caring what other people think, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt because people that are going to put forth their opinions, especially in an unmeasured manner, where they're going to say something that's like brazen or not necessarily taking into account different factors that may be included within like something as simple or as complex as a single leg glute raise. You know, you do have to take it with a grain of salt that this person, you know, their opinion might not even matter that much. So even if they have something to say, it doesn't mean that what they have to say is worth listening to. So, it's just something that I like to put everything through a filter first. So that filter is like, does this pass like a basic logic test or a basic rationale or emotional intelligence-based test? And if it doesn't, I don't take that as seriously.
And then it's also, too, like Justin said, like, who is it coming from? Is it coming from some random hater? Or is it coming from your, maybe fellow trainer? Because we all bounce ideas off of each other. Is it coming from one of your fellow trainers and like, hey, you'll probably feel this better if you do this, try this. And, it's different the way it's said. And then
Yeah,
also who it's coming
positive opinions.
from, right? So, and if you trust that person, like if, Caitlin or Alejandra or even Justin or Phil had said, hey, try this, I would try it because I trust their opinion. I know that they're on, that professional level, the same level that I am, and they have knowledge and skills in some areas that I may not. So, like, it depends who it's coming from, too. Like, and, I want to bring this up because somebody brought this up to me, and it's so, so true. I trust the opinions of the people that are in the arena with me. So there is a talk by Teddy Roosevelt, and he talks about the man in the arena. Look it up. Everybody should look this up. Man in the arena. And it talks about when you're in the arena, you're getting your hands dirty, and you're working hard. The people that are in the arena watching, right? They're watching you. They aren't in the arena getting their hands dirty with you. So you shouldn't care about what those people's opinions are. The people who are in the arena with you, that are supporting you, that are encouraging you, that are pushing you, that are, guiding you, mentoring you, those are the people that you should worry about. So if you ever upset that person that's in the arena with you, that's the person that you should bend over backwards for. That's the person that you need to be concerned about whether or not you go up to them and like you've said something offensive and you want to, you want to apologize and make things right? Or they've said something to help you and you're like, maybe there's some truth to that. The people that are in the arena with you, those are the people's opinions that you should care about, not the people that are not in the arena with you.
Yeah. Negative opinions are terrible. They're needed, though. We do need them sometimes.
We do, because sometimes we use it as a driving factor, for sure.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it on that subject.
Well, I actually brought props.
Have you
So-
had
Some spices.
Ooh.
The spice
Okay,
that's nice,
so-
baby.
And thank you, Kunika, for commenting and just engaging with us. Love it.
Yes.
So one thing I learned this week, I got basil, and I
Okay.
got oregano leaves, and I brought coarse ground black pepper. Spice time. Oregano and basil, I put that together and made some chicken this week and made a cooking video, and it was delicious. But
It was really
just
freaking good.
even though I'm a nutritionist, the funny thing is I don't really do a ton of recipes. So like I've just been like experimenting lately. And I had seen on Precision Nutrition, they sent me an email of different spices that taste good on things. And I saw this and I was like, all right, cool, let's try it. Delicious. So basil and oregano leaves on chicken. You can bake it, you can air fry it, you can grill it. Anyway, it tastes good.
Awesome.
And then also, I forgot the dill weed, guys. But dill weed and coarse ground pepper on salmon, yum.
Yeah, quick food facts.
Yeah, quick food facts. So that was something I learned this week.
Yeah. We can learn a new recipe. We can learn a new workout. We can go to a new park. We could do a different hike, like explore.
Yeah.
You only have so much time on this planet. And this guy that I was watching the other day, like, when you count it down, like, say the average person lives 100 years, you only have 100 summers in your lifetime. So what are you going to do in
Wow.
those 100 summers? When you
That's
break it down like that,
scary.
you might change your mind a little bit more. So I'm 30. I might have 70 summers left. And that's if, we make it to that 100.
So what are you
Might
trying
get
to
over 100.
So it
102.
means
Please
don't
help.
wait on anything. Do like what you think is right and do what you want and be certain about what you're doing and it will be successful. Don't hesitate.
Well, one of the things you talked about in the beginning was anxiety. And I think all of us here can speak to that. So I want Caitlin to start us up on anxiety, maybe what anxiety you felt, maybe how you dealt with it. But I do think that this is something her and I have talked about a lot since she's been with us. So I want you to speak on it first.
Yeah. Anxiety is definitely one of my biggest struggles, but I'm actually, I've just got diagnosed recently, not even maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. I've also, during that time, got diagnosed with autism as well. That's not something I publicly speak about a lot, but it's not something that I don't publicly speak about because I'm ashamed of. I'm totally open about it.
Thank you for sharing.
Here we go, look at this.
Now, as far as my anxiety, it's an everyday struggle. I've been on meds. I've been off meds. I'm currently not on. But it's just really about just learning myself and what I can control. I can't control everything, and I'm kind of learning that. So sometimes I just kind of have to go with the flow. And
Yeah.
that's my biggest tip. My biggest struggle is really just when I get overwhelmed. That's my biggest thing. It throws off my whole day, and then I'm just down in the dumps. I don't know. Sometimes I've come into work down in the dumps. I don't know if they've ever noticed that before, but I know I try to keep my high hopes up and keep the energy there to keep the team.
Energy's always high, and energy
Yeah.
is
I would have
everything,
never known
guys.
that,
Yeah.
but I can attest to that too. I've told her that where I experience anxiety most, and I know my husband, lives with me, so he can speak on this. But it's usually nighttime, like when I'm
Yeah.
like coming home from work, and I'm just thinking about what I have to do the next day, or the fact that like yesterday I was exhausted. I don't think the average person knows how busy Justin and I are. We are extremely busy. I had 1 hour to myself all day yesterday, and I had to choose between, do I want to work out or do I want to nap? Because if I don't nap, I'm barely going to have any energy for any of the clients in the evening. So I chose to nap because I care about my clients and I want what's best for them, not always what's best for me. But then today, same thing. I'm going to have an hour, so I'm going to squeeze in a workout. I'm going to go back to work. I'm not going to get out till 8. Tomorrow I got to go back to work, and then I got a wedding. So it's like that stress of thinking about all the things I have to do sometimes really stresses me out at night. And for me, I've had anxiety my whole life, and I've gone on and off of meds as well. Definitely after my parents died, I had to go on that because that was just like one of those things I could not naturally work through, that anxiety or feeling overwhelmed. But for me, working out definitely helps. When I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I have Alexa and a Hey Google. I call it Hey Google. Hey Google.
She doesn't work for Amazon, I swear. She's
Anyways,
promoting
so
them.
the Google, if I like feel like I'm down in the dumps, what I will do, and this is just me, you could tell it to just read you anything if you wanted to read you Unfuck Yourself or a self-help book, or just something that you like on YouTube. But I'll just say, hey Google, or hey Alexa, start playing Joyce Myers. And every time I listen to her, I'll hear something she says, or I'll laugh, or I'll resonate with something, and that usually helps me get out of my head. But getting out of my head. And that was taught to me, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm 5 years sober. I went to AA. That helped me become sober and stay sober. But one of the things was idle time is bad time in the head. If you're a person who has anxiety, or you're a person who's recovering from an addiction, or, even I think weight loss. When you have idle time, guess what that means? Boredom eating, stress eating.
You just start
right?
eating and thinking.
Eating and thinking.
Oh, that really
yeah.
happens.
And it's, people come to me about stress eating, and I stress eat myself because, it's not all the time, but I'm not perfect. And I've said this before. Don't think that I'm perfect. This is a lifelong journey. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a lifestyle. But what works for me is coming home, and if I'm already feeling down from being so stressed out and anxious all day long, is usually having one of those, hey Google or Alexa, read me something where I'm not having to read it, because if I'm so overwhelmed in that moment, I'm not going to be able to get the focus to read.
For sure.
So
another way to get over anxiety, at least for me, is just facing your fears, and don't let your fears control your life. And that
easier
is-
said than done.
It's an emotion, your life is controlled by emotions. If you're happy, you're most likely going to do better, just based off of that emotion, and just walking taller. And
Oh, that's a great one. Kunika says she listens to meditation music at work
go.
and while she's
Meditate.
sleeping. Love that. Yeah.
yeah, but energy, like I said, is everything. And if you have a good high energy, it's going to help you throughout life, and it will help you get over those anxieties if you start facing your fears. And the smaller fears will not seem so bad if you keep continuously facing fear. That's just what I've learned.
How about Alejandro?
As far as anxiety goes, I don't find myself in many situations where I do feel anxious, especially not in public situations. But if it does arrive, it tends to be a relatively tense situation. And I have experienced anxiety in the past, but I'm a very opportunistic person. And so I approached the problem as a challenge and an opportunity to grow myself. So I remember when I was 17, I realized, oh my gosh, I've been going to a magnet school for the past 4 years. We do everything on an iPad. We communicate virtually. I don't really know how to talk to people. And so I got a job as a server, and I started talking to people.
Love it.
Outside of that, I realized, you know what? I don't know how to fight anyone. If I was in a self-defense situation, what would I do? And so I started doing martial arts. And so that's given me a lot of confidence over time, just understanding that even in, certain worst case scenarios, I have like a reliability and I can kind of depend on myself. I find that has helped alleviate a lot of my anxiety, and overall just having an opportunistic outlook. Like, even in the worst case scenarios, it's like, if I'm not dead, then there's an opportunity. So like,
Love that, dude.
there are some moments in my life where I've questioned whether or not I had like the right outlook, but at the end of the day, it's the outlook that works best for me. And, therefore I've like asserted that, so far it's been really helpful for me. And even in like moments where, like when I lost my grandma, when she died, I was like, all right, why did she die? Like, what was the cause?
Yeah.
She had been a smoker since she was 15 years old, and by the age of 50, her lungs gave out on her. But that wasn't like, that didn't really get me down. I didn't fall into a pessimistic mind state. I looked at what she did and I learned from it. So I looked at how she smoked like 50 years of her life, and I was like, okay, that's an opportunity for me to learn, and that's an opportunity for this to be a teaching moment for, the members of our family that do smoke, that they may have the opportunity to like overcome that addiction because of this situation. And we see that all the time in our business. People are coming in out of like bad places.
Yeah.
Because that was
Every
their
day.
opportunity. Like, you got to look at your situation and understand like, oh, even if this does suck, like, this is taking me to a low, or this has set my bar at a lower state, and now I have the opportunity to look up.
Yeah, don't let your problems control you. Focus on the solutions. We all seem to hyper focus on the problem, and it becomes bigger the more you think about it. And if you focus on the solution the same way you look at the problem, you're most likely just going to crush that problem down and face that damn fear and get it over with. And once the problem's done, it's gone. You don't have to sit there and think about it and talk about it and worry and worry and worry. Work on a solution, and that's what Alejandro seems to be doing, and it seems to be working well. That was also on the podcast. I was going to talk about that too.
Oh, yeah.
And you brought it up without me even telling you.
What?
That
Oh, okay.
don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution. And how are you
Yeah.
going to fix that problem instead of focusing on,
This is just my
This
experience as a woman, and Caitlin can touch on this, but I do feel like, unfortunately, men have mastered this a little bit better than women. Like, we're like, okay, whatever. And it's just like, they're so aloof. You know what I mean? Like, all right, let it go. Let it go. That's what Justin will say all the time. Like, I can't just let it go the way
I
you want
can't.
me to. This isn't Frozen.
well, what does
okay?
worrying do? This is what I say to Abby. She gets mad at me. I'm going to say it again. What does worrying do
And I
for
get
you?
what he's saying, but usually for me, the way I break it down is I try to think about what things can I control. So that's what I start thinking, and that's how I start to, slowly compartmentalize. If it's a situation, okay, is it something I can fix right now? No. Okay, check. You know what I mean? Is it something that can be fixed tomorrow? No. Check. So is it something I need to worry about tonight? No. Check. Right? It's something, and I used to be really bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, even just making meal plans used to stress me out. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have 48 hours, and I would want to do them all in that one night, and I stress myself out. And then I started to think, okay, I don't need to do it tonight. What does my day look like tomorrow? Okay, I have a little bit more time tomorrow. I said 48 hours. Okay, I can do it maybe after the evening if I would decide I need a nap. But just thinking about if I can control it and what parts of it can I control. Is it something that needs to be worried about right now, or can I push it off to the back of my head and worry about it tomorrow?
Yeah, quit worrying.
Easier
That's the
said
key.
than done.
It's a very
Very.
good key.
I mean,
I'm
but do you
telling
feel that way, that like men are a little bit better at like that aloofness, that let it
Kinda
go?
brushing it off the
yeah,
shoulder.
brushing
It's
it
like
off the
that, but it's
shoulder.
the fuck it mode. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's like that sticker, the car
What do
sticker
you
on the back
think
of cars.
it is about women
Yeah.
that have it's harder for us? Do you think that this is like societal pressures? Do you think that as
guys are
women we
smarter,
criticize
first
each other more?
That one. That
Yeah.
last one. Women criticize women so much. And I think now, I've seen it a lot on Instagram and just social media in general, woman empowering women. Like, you shouldn't look at a woman and degrade her or comment it. I think we all should be able to lift each other up and form as a community. Kind of the same long lines of Black Lives Matter, right? It's just all women. Women of
Yeah.
all colors, all shapes, all sizes, right? Need to come together.
Imagine a platform with just like positivity, a positivity platform where no one is negative. Think about how great that would be and how big that would grow.
New business idea.
It'd be insane.
Yeah.
Nothing everything's positive and nothing negative is allowed. If you're negative, you're gone. you're on the negative site. Instagram.
I always wonder why people feel the need to put a negative comment. It's just like, what? I wish I had that much time in my day that if I had something negative to say, it's so easy for me to put something positive, like, let's go, yay, love that, right? And so I'm just like, it's a simple comment, boom. It actually like takes effort to think about something negative you want to write about that person on their post. And it's just like,
that
really?
will continue into their day. If
What
they're
did that do
negative
for you?
on the computer? Most likely, everybody
negative
in the
in person.
office probably doesn't like that person because they're always negative. They
They're-
can't even take their
They're spending
own
every lunch
time.
break.
Exactly. They can't even take their own time to have like a positive thought. It's just like, ooh, this girl's doing the squat wrong. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's just crazy.
So I get told this a while ago, but Caitlin doesn't know this story. So there used to be this woman that used to come to our old studio, and she trained with my other trainer at the time. And I put up a video of myself at the beach, and I was in a thong bikini, and Justin, it was a leg day, and Justin took the video for me. It was aerial drone. I thought it looked sick. I
It was
posted
dope,
it.
dude. Don't
Well,
hate.
this
Appreciate it.
lady thought she was replying, like sending my video, because on stories, I put on the story, to her friend. She actually sent the reply to me. And it said, and I'll quote it, you know who you are, so listen up. It said,
we started a movement that day.
wow,
It was great.
she works out so hard and her ass is still flat with a laughy face. And so you know what I did? I said, really, ... So I took it, I screenshotted it, put it up on Instagram, made a whole bully campaign, and all day long I had clients talk about a situation which someone
This
made them
lady
feel bad.
flipped
I
her lid.
tagged her daughter who is in college on it, and I said, you should be ashamed that you have a daughter in college who is experiencing societal pressures and criticism from women, and you went out of your way to criticize me. And she was so upset. She literally called me and demanded I take it down
Yeah.
because of the company that she worked for was actually about women and beauty. And I think she was worried she was going to get fired.
was
Well, you
crazy.
shouldn't have put it out there.
Your words, your choice.
Your words,
Yeah.
your choice. I like that. Absolutely. So think about what you say, because little did she know, I used to actually get made fun of for not having a butt in high school until I wore, and I'll tell this story, used to wear jeans all the time, and I don't even know if my mom knows this.
Small booties matter.
I wore, right? Small booties matter. I wore yoga pants, and I can remember the guys above me, a grade above me going, oh, laughing at me and going, wow, Abby actually has a butt. So that was from there on out. I was like, really? I'm going to show you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And we all have body dysmorphia. I'll tell that right now. We
Yes.
all have it. Every person that I've ever met.
So that lady triggered me in saying that and didn't even know that. So you don't know what you're going to say. It's your words, your choice. And once you put it out there, you're not in control of if I decide to repost that and make a campaign out of that.
Yeah.
But we
And I
also
told her, you know
took-
what I responded to her with? I said, actually, it'll come down when Instagram allows it to come down in 24 hours.
It was a 24-hour
You're welcome.
post, whatever. It wasn't a permanent post. But anyway, we turned a big negative to a massive positive.
Massive positive, yeah.
So, like, if you approach situations like that, like, it's only going to bring you positivity.
I would like to play devil's advocate.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Okay. So
Say it.
I have a couple alternative perspectives to bring to the table.
Okay.
So
what is that?
as far as I think it's a very complex issue. Let's look at things from a sociology perspective. So we asked the initial question: why do we think that men problem solve in a way that differs from the way that women problem solve? I think that there are a lot of structures that are in place that aren't just societal peer pressure, but they're also biological. And, there are a lot of different natures to why this is a sort of moving problem. And I think it's pretty complicated. But I think that one of the overall arching themes between, men and women deciphering problems differently is just because they, generally speaking, carry different responsibilities. And, from a biological perspective, from a societal perspective, the man is typically the breadwinner, whether it be the norm or whether our society be moving towards a more egalitarian society where women are going to be 50-50 split between the breadwinners and not. I'm not saying that there's a problem with either direction.
No, I'm following.
Yeah.
But
I think
what
there's like
I
a
am saying-
standard now, right? For
Yeah.
for women to be that empowering woman. And
Yeah.
now you guys hold that standard to yourselves.
Yeah.
And the men have just kind of been there, I guess, and we don't really care.
It's always been accepted. That's
Yeah.
a part of our responsibility.
Exactly.
Well, I
Even
say
from an
this.
evolutionary standpoint, it's like you look at what a man has had to do and what a woman has had to do. They've been very differing roles. The man has always been the one that explores, the one that goes, that hunts, that does the major problem solving.
Unless you're a
outside
cheetah.
of that area.
I think it's lions.
I said
Maybe
the men.
cheetahs too. Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, like the
The
lioness is
lion
the
men
hunter.
Oh,
stay
yeah.
home.
Yeah.
The cheetahs.
That doesn't
huh.
mean they don't get down and
The
dirty.
king of the jungle eats.
They
All right,
still
so where's
play-
this
going?
So they're
Where's
predators.
this going?
Okay, never mind. Let's not get off on the lion and cheetah tangent.
Okay.
Even though I would love to. Okay, so my second point was towards like only positive comments. So the problem with that is it becomes very monotonous, and you would never have had that story to tell about overcoming.
No, I
the
1,000%
negativity.
agree. We're saying like I think
It was just a small idea.
Justin's
Alejandro.
yeah, it was an idea like what would the world look like if we all were more positive, and there wasn't negative comments. But I agree. I mean, I say all the time, I'm not ashamed of the things I've been through. People are very worrisome when they ask me about being adopted, and they're like, oh, are you okay? It's like, I'm fine. I'm not a charity case, so I get it. If I never went through those experiences, I wouldn't be a strong ass woman, right?
Yeah.
But I think that the problem isn't necessarily like negative comments in person. It's the social media where that's taken that. So one negative comment leads into 30 or 50, and you got now the rise in depression, and the suicide rate for teens is through the roof. And that is one of the things that facilitates that is social media and the negative comments, and one leading to another, and one person saying, hey, she's a small butt, and now she's had 10 other women formulating the same idea because she did it.
Yeah,
It's
and
just something else to
unfortunately-
hide behind too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the perspective I was provided on, negative thoughts as opposed to positive thoughts and coming into like the human psyche, was actually provided to me by a man named Jordan Peterson.
That's cool.
Excellent, like, clinical psychologist as well as just philosopher.
Very smart man.
Extremely smart, like way smarter than me. So that's why I defer to him.
He's older than you, sir.
Yes.
You got time.
But he had a very interesting way of putting it. He said that we have evolved to process the negativity in a way that's 10 times more potent than the positivity. Because the positivity, it's great, it's wonderful, makes you feel good. But the negativity has so much more potential to end your life, especially in like, a situation where we're not in a first world country where things are easy, they're cush. You work a job, you earn money, you pay your rent, you eat, you pay the water bill, you have water, you pay the electric bill, you have electric. We don't need all of that, but our bodies and our minds are still like at that point where it's like what is negative must be assessed immediately because that has an immediate potential of threat. So it is very interesting to look at how social media pervades that type of demeanor, and it seems like it's more prevalent because people do have a keyboard and a monitor to hide behind. But I think that you need to take that same attitude and flip it around. You need to flip the script because when you're looking at something negative on social media, it took 10 times less energy for them to put that out. And it takes like 10 times more attention from you.
They're not going to come up to you in prison and be like, oh, that squat is terrible. They might, but they're most likely not. And that's what I mean. They're just going to hide behind the keyboard, which is fine. Negativity is needed.
And what Konika just said is I think
never
it's
said
all
it
about
wasn't.
perspective. So we have someone that just commented and said it's all about perspective when faced with adversity because we can only control ourselves and not others. And that's so true. And we can only control our reactions. So, I'm going to close with, hey, my tip for others and anxiety and not getting anxious about negativity, because this all correlates and goes together, is just thinking about the fact that we can only control our reactions. So as going off of what Alejandro was saying, yeah, you do give them all the power when you react in a negative way back to their negative comment. You saw how I completely took the power from that woman, and she was powerless, calling me, begging me to take down the story because I took that negativity from her. And their power was now gone.
Yeah.
That's
so
an awesome power move.
Yeah, it was. I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie. I still have joy in it.
Hey,
So anyways, you can only control your emotions and your reactions to people, right? So don't get hot-headed the minute somebody says something to you that isn't what you want to hear. Think about it. Take in what they're saying. If you don't think you can come up with an appropriate response, it's okay to take a breather. It's okay to take space. It's okay to not respond to that comment right away and come back to it when you are reacting. You're reacting without emotion,
yeah.
is my tip.
Yeah.
Your emotions run your life, and don't let them. You control your emotions. So
Yeah.
you might react to something, but you can control your reaction. And it's something that I'm learning myself right now is how to be emotionally intelligent. And that's a new thing that I'm learning on my list, along with apparently reading again.
Yes. And then you two, let's hear some close-up stuff from you.
That's
Wrap
how you
it
take
up.
it away, Ollie.
Okay. So to finish out, I think that every negative situation is an opportunity. Every positive situation is an opportunity. just depends on your mindset. So focus on your mindset, focus on yourself. And, it's pretty much what your mom, your dad, your 5th grade teacher has always been telling you. Focus on you.
Yeah,
for
love
sure.
it. Love it.
You have
Caitlin?
to think the same way because that's really what I was going to wrap up with. Like, focus on you and what you want to put forth. It's you versus the world, and I feel like that's a very strong, that resonates with me. You versus the world, it's
Yeah.
you. Like Abby was saying, you have people in your arena, but at the end of the day, when you go home, who do you have?
You're the one that
Yourself.
got your hands
Yourself.
dirty. Right?
So
Right.
if you don't step back away from the world and learn about yourself, that's the biggest thing I'm learning right now. I'm stepping back from my family, my friends, and taking time to learn who I am as a person. So
I love it.
Love
That's
that.
my
I'm
biggest one.
excited to get to
Yeah.
know Caitlin and get to know who Alejandro decides who he is, because I do feel like Justin and I know who we are at this point. But love that
Somewhat.
you can, somewhat. You're still evolving. You
I
know
still
what?
learn every
Change
day,
that. We're
guys,
still
every
evolving.
day.
All right, that's the wrap up.
Yep.
Thank you guys for joining us today here on Operation Hustle. That is every Friday from 2 to 2:30 p.m. A little bit
2:45
later
already.
today, guys. Yeah, that's right. A little bit late start. But we are going to be live on YouTube. That is Abs Fitness Film House. Facebook, if you don't already follow us on Facebook, like us, follow us. It's Abs.
subscribe,
Yep,
comment.
Abs Fitness LLC is the Facebook page name, and then on Instagram that is Abs Fitness _ Brandon, Florida, guys. And we are trying to go live on there as well.
Yeah, Google review us as well if you have not already. I know I ask you, I bug all you guys all the
Yes,
time.
clients, please Google
Abs
review.
Fitness LLC. Leave us a written Google review. It goes
Positive
a long
reviews
way,
only, please, guys.
Please.
Yeah, please. Okay.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you. We'll see you next Friday.
Peace. Bye,
out,
guys.
guys.
Goodbye.